Where do I start? Where do I even start? Before we get to the issue at hand, I've got to tell you a couple of things which I hope you recognize as being valid. And listen to me, and before people start commenting, because immediately they'll just start commenting and they'll start, which is fine. And I don't mean here in live chats, I just mean in general. People just start talking and they have no idea what they're talking about because they just have to say something. Israel has been pushed out, and I'm not saying this as an anti-Israeli, pro-Palestinian, I'm telling you as an observer of what's happening, and if you don't see what's happening, you're not paying attention. Israel is who? Who? Bibi Netanyahu, who? It's Qatar, not Qatar, Qatar or gutter, sometimes pronounced G. This is the most incredible thing I've ever seen in your life, my life. I can't believe what I am seeing here. Do you recognize what I'm saying? Do you grasp this? This is something which is beyond anything I'm able to see in recent terms. During my YouTube rotation, they have Hannity coming up. And by the way, bless his heart, he is so successful and deservedly so. Anybody who follows Rush Limbaugh and Bill O'Reilly in their career, his concept is so inane. He is a campaign worker for President Trump. It's not even remotely objective. And I don't mean not that you can't talk about this without being objective, but how people are seeing this or not seeing this, I have no idea. I have no clue as to how people are not seeing this. It is like a campaign. Okay, fine. It's a free country. It's pathetic. A couple of things. Qatar. What is the role of Qatar? What is the role of Qatar vis-a-vis Saudi Arabia? What is Qatar? What do they do? What's their goal? They bribe, they pay off. They are the money bags of the Middle East. What's their problem? How do they work with the Muslim Brotherhood? Any idea? Of course not. Americans have no earthly idea. Listen to what I am saying. Are you following me? Good. Americans have no earthly idea of any of this. The most significant news of them all is how Israel has just been ghosted, forgotten, abandoned, whatever the word is for you, whatever the phrase is, whatever you think it is, I am telling you, I've never seen anything like this. And the Hannity and others are saying, okay, well, say, excuse me, you're going to be meeting, they've lifted the sanctions on Syria? Who understands what I'm saying? Who? It's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing, mind-boggling. It doesn't even begin. It's called bud out. B-U-D. Bud out. You mean butt out? B-U-T-T. Bud out. It's called bud out. What does that mean? I don't know. See, I must say something. I appreciate it. The commentary, and I appreciate this immensely on these, is sometimes so, it's like, what do you think what does that mean? This is why sometimes I don't read as much as I should, because the comments, and I love you, they don't say anything. They say, well, what does that mean? It's not even enough. Do you think who's butting out? Bud out? See that? No. This is the problem. That's not it. Do you think that's it? You think this is butt out? Do you recognize what is happening? And I know you're one person, and I know you're a good person. But this is what we're talking about. They have the dough. Close. Tell me about President Trump's outlook. Does President Trump have loyalty? Let me ask you a question. Is President Trump loyal? Answer that question. Stick with my question. Is he loyal? When he says, I'm with you, Israel, 100%, no matter what. Is he? Now remember, what I'm saying, people are going to be interpreting it as one way or another. They're going to be saying, oh, you're obviously, no. Answer my question. Don't know. Is that Judith? There's Judith. Judith, I like when people even mimic the thought process. We don't need that. But that's nice. I believe everyone is trying to keep comments short. Don't. Well, I think so. I mean, there's no comments. There's like 2 words. I think you're right. I think you're onto something. Talk about this. You are watching history. We've never seen anything like this. During the Biden administration with Blinken, we were Shia versus Sunni, question mark? What does that mean? Anyway, I got to stop doing this because sometimes I go, what? Anyway, forget it. During the Biden administration, anything that Israel asked for, anything, it was a rubber check. A blank check. A rubber check. It was a rubber stamp is what I meant to say. Everything. Bibi and Zelensky, what does this tell you? Appeared before, how many times before Congress? I mean, this was the most incredible thing I've ever seen. What are we doing? Whose country is this? Unbelievable. It was the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. And then all of a sudden, Trump says, okay. First he gives you, this guy Waltz came along in that signal thing. Trump finds out, oh, are you planning behind my back to bomb Iran? Oh, no, you don't. I'm the boss. Boom. Period. And that's it. He ghosted him overnight like it never happened. And then Intercept, did you see Judge Napolitano? He was beside himself. Nappy was absolutely going berserk with what he thought he saw happening. This is incredible. I never thought I'd ever see this in my life. Never thought I would see this in my life. By the way, check out Mrs. L today, live at 5. She'll tell you about her Washington trip. Whoa! I've got the main player here. We'll fill you in on that. Trump says, that's it. He got how much from AIPAC and the Adelsons? $100 million. And he's saying, in essence, times have changed. That's it. It's done. Thank you. And they're saying, and all these folks who memorized the AIPAC script, who were just saying, and now we're saying, we're not doing this anymore? No. We're not? No. Let's see what Charlie Kirk does. Let's see what a lot of people do. And remember what I'm telling you. I'm looking at things in actual real terms, not as far as what I want there to be as true. This is what people don't understand. My foreign policy, I'm into realpolitik. I want to know what is happening, not who's right or wrong. Do you understand that? Do you understand that? I only care about what's right and wrong and what is happening. I'm not interested in whatever. Could you throw me a coffee in my darling dear sweet? I left my coffee somewhere and I'm immediately going on fumes. We have an early appointment this morning, so I've got to get my stuff out of the way. This is the most incredible. Charlie Kirk is so bought. Charlie Kirk is just, I mean, high as bitter. He just says stuff. He is so scripted. Bless his heart. Good for him. But this is turning point. The American right is so bereft of leadership. Is so bereft of leadership. It's scripted. I think that among a lot of folks today, the people who represent the American right, the right wing, are the people who are the most polished in terms of video. It is purely personality. Never the concept, never the information, purely, totally cult of personality driven. I mean it. Absolutely, positively, without a doubt. It is this notion of who's kind of popular, for the time being. They come and they go and they come and they go. And it's popular because, for whatever reason, it's not the information. It's the style. We are seeing something here what happens to the ICC, the ICJ, and the human rights and the genocide accusations? What happens then? Forget it. If the World Court gets the idea, America ain't interested in this. Okay, here we go. Next, lifting the sanctions against Syria? Oh my God. And he's going to be dealing with Iran. You know that Trump wants to deal with Iran. You know that he wants to deal with Iran, and the reason why he wants to deal with Iran is he says, why am I antagonizing these people who mean nothing to us? What do we do? The only reason, what Trump is saying is, the only reason that I am involved in basically alienating the world, people that I need now. And don't forget too, what Trump and the Trump family is doing, I don't know. People are going to be saying, you're making deals for yourself. You're making deals. How do I say this? You're making deals somehow that are, for lack of a better word, you're making deals that could very well benefit the Trump family. That's why Eric, you notice how Don Jr., nowhere to be found. You notice how Kimberly Guilfoyle, you ever hear from her? I mean, she's a Grease. You ever hear anything from her? Ever see her? Nope. Carrie Lake, Don Bongino, where do these people go? See, there's one thing about Trump. When you're ghosted, for whatever reason, that's it. And they get the word, and Fox will follow suit. You're just not important anymore. You are just not important. I think he recognizes, too, Pam Bondi. I think he's going to tell her, stop going on Fox News. Pam Bondi is giving people the impression that she wants to be too much of a star, that she wants to be Pam Bondi and not the Attorney General. Not so much Kash Patel. Drew says, correct, the right wing has no real leadership. It's entirely run. It's entirely run by the popular mouthpieces on social media or independent news shows. Where are the conservative leadership to give politics? Thank you, darling. Thank you. I don't know what you mean by right wing. Thank you, darling. Thank you. Oh. A couple of things. There is no right wing. Wrong term. Thank you for your comment. There's no such thing as right wing. I don't know what the hell right wing means. Number two, the roughly 80 million who voted for Trump voted for MAGA and America First. They didn't vote for the Republican Party. lose the term right wing. You're using a vernacular. Somebody told me the other day, somebody said rap. They go, no, it's hip hop. I said, okay, whatever. So there is no right wing. Do you think Trump is right wing? Anybody think that is right wing? You think Trump? Hell no. He's not right wing. Not in the least. Not in the least. Okay? What happened to the egg prices? What happened? There's nobody who follows up. Nobody ever says, hey, whatever happened with that? Remember the egg or egg? I'm more of an A. I pronounce it egg, not egg, like leg. It's weird how we say that. But in any event, whatever happened with that? Come on, quick. The answer is, I don't know. You don't know. There's no answer to that. You don't know. You have no idea. Where did the egg thing? It was a catastrophe. Where are the eggs? Where are they? What happened? What happened? What happened to them? Somebody tell me. Anybody? Anybody? We don't know. What about gas? Gas has dropped precipitously. Why? I heard them mention the other day. And I ate 2 this morning. Ooh. I ain't going to tell you what to do. That's okay. It's a free country. But my question is simply this. What he is doing right now is unbelievable. Last night I was listening to Katie Halper, Nuri Rabbani, I believe from Iran, Jeffrey Sachs. They don't even know. The people who hate Trump, but many people who are pro-Palestinian are saying, is he okay now? I don't know. This is what is happening. Follow the complexity of the story. Now, let's switch to another story. I was watching, again on my YouTube, not my YouTube, no, is it YouTube or is it X? Whatever I'm watching. I just like all the little, by the way, speaking of eggs. On this link, something called Prepare with Lionel. I want you to spend a little time. Go to preparewithlionel.com. Look at what is available for you. And that is available in terms of emergency lights, 100-hour candles, generators, water purification, the food, of course, waterless, anything you can imagine that is susceptible and amenable and available and useful in a disaster, it's available at Prepare with Lionel. Did you know that? It's true. It's right there on the link, plus others, no debt, and our good friend Mike Lindell, he's still there. Did you see the Smartmatic lawsuit may be heading for a big bump because the court is saying, how was your reputation hurt? You didn't have a reputation. Oh, that would be fantastic because I think the defamation acts are used too much, too often by too many. Okay, so I happened to be on my phone today and they had Greg Jarrett. Greg Jarrett, good guy. Used to work with him years ago at Court TV. He was at Court TV with us and then he went to, I think, Fox or MSDNC or someplace. But anyway, it's a good egg. And he, of course, is reading the Diddy story like everybody else. Now, here is the question. I'm going to throw something. Could they Epstein him? Let me throw that question out. Could they? Answer the question. What do you think? Could they? Could they take him out and, Anybody? Anybody? By the way, mention my good friend Sean Atwood was on yesterday. If they wanted, why would they want to Epstein him? Could it happen now? During a trial? During a trial? What are some of the things you want to know? Oh, they could do it now. Of course they could. And nobody would say, well, there you go. There you go. He was obviously depressed, obviously upset by the... And don't just make this stuff up. Now, here's my question. I had a friend of mine years ago who was he was so honestly brutal. He oftentimes sounded like people would say he was a racist or a misogynist, but when you do the research, remember during the day of O.J. Simpson, when they talked about when O.J. Simpson was threatening to kill himself? And my friend said, I called him the Jane Goodall of human behavior. Not just simian, or he just knew human. He would know. No, that's not true. When O.J. Simpson, they said, yeah, O.J. Simpson was threatening to commit suicide. And he said, really? Yeah. I said, well, he said something to the effect of, no. And he said some story. He said, no. He said, black folks don't commit suicide. He said, they'll kill other people. Now, that's not my idea, but what I'm saying was his statement was when it came to self-harm, his statement was, no. That's looked down upon. That is poo-pooed. There's highly stigma. And he had a lot of interesting. And I said, now this is before ChatGPT and before the internet. This was a long time ago. Believe it or not, since then I've always thought about that, and there's a certain degree of truth to it. There have been always a significant lower amount of self-harm in the black community, and you could argue why for a variety of reasons. Stigma. Maybe one could argue that if you are raised in a situation in which you are you are used to the notion of disappointment, and I'm not trying to be, if you think about it, it makes sense. Depression, if this is your theoretical general lot, one could argue that, you know what, there may be something to that. There's a strong religious aspect too, an African American part of it. So anyway, I happened to look up today, and it's true. And as we know, no matter what the circumstances are regarding Diddy's case, nobody will listen, because once they say, well, he committed self-harm, they're going to say, okay, move on. Because they're trained seals. Now think about this. Why would this happen? Why? Remember, there was a time when he was on that particular type of watch. You remember that? Remember that time? Remember the story initially? Remember that? Yep. Why would they take him off that? What has changed? Nothing really. Nothing actually. So what's the point of this? Well, it's hard to say what it is. Greg Jarrett was talking about the case, and he's a lawyer. Again, missing the point. Did you read the indictment? Yeah. What does the indictment have to do with Cassie and beating people up, and the escort and the cases of unionism and urolagnia committed against Cassie and blah, 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 blah. What do you think the two have together? And I realized that America has no critical thinking power and doesn't really care. If they are told, well, that's it, okay, that's it, end of discussion. That's it, that's it. Really? Yep. That's it. So he did himself in? Yep. Virginia Giuffre. It was on with Atwood. Atwood was talking about pharmacide. I said, excuse me, we don't know the first thing about what happened to her. We don't know the first thing about what happened to her, the facts of the case. We don't know anything about tox screens, nothing. They just accept it. America will accept anything. And Americans get bored. By the way, I need double those likes. I need you to double those likes, ladies and gentlemen. I need your likes. I need your likes. They mean a lot. Double those likes. Triple. I need 300, 400, 500 likes. We're just a small channel. We're just trying to get going. We're trying to get going, my friend. I don't have a lot of fancy equipment. I do like my phone, though. I got to tell you, there's something about this whole thing that's just it's funner, if that's a word. It's not a word. They keep talking about whether it's TMZ, whether it's Harvey Levin, whether it's whatever. They keep talking about. And did you hear the story of Cassie and the beating? And saying they're setting this. If this isn't a mistrial or a reversal on appeal or a hung jury, I don't know what is. What is the matter with you people? Not you, but them. What is the matter? So if all of a sudden somebody said, you know what? It might just be, we haven't done one of those. Let's do another Epstein. Really? Yeah. Let's do a Clinton. You saw it with Clinton. Remember Clinton? Every other day somebody was, remember that one? How about during the JFK case? Remember all those witnesses? All of them dispatched. Every single one of them, almost. Nobody said anything. Americans don't do anything. Americans don't know anything. They don't know anything. I'm telling you. Trump right now is arriving in gutter, or Qatar, as people say. Nobody even cares about how to pronounce it, but I'm not even going to bother. I was watching something the other day, and there was this fellow who does a mob thing. He says, in lieu of versus in lieu of. Oh, and past tense of go. I had went there. What? We are a very simple country, my friend. A very simple country, very simple, very simplistic, uneducated. We are ahistorical or anhistorical. We don't know anything. We don't care about anything. We don't think. We love this. We listened the other day to something called true crime. True crime. What was the name of that couple? It was the silliest thing I've ever heard in my life. They were actually doing, it was on my Spotify. We were coming back. I said, these two girls, and like, it's the silliest thing I've ever heard in my life, but it's huge. Today we're going to talk about the Golden State Killer. And he would come in and he would put teacups and plates on people's backs so that if they tried to get up and leave, they would be like, oh my God, who are these people? Who are these people? They're 12-year-olds. True crime? They haven't even got, they spent the whole time reacting to it. Ooh, that's, well, they didn't say gross, but they might as well have been. See, that's who we are. That's who America is. You have to understand this. Are you familiar with what's happening in South Africa with the Afrikaans and the Afrikaners and the Boers and anybody? Anybody? Good luck. Which one's the white people? The white people got to leave? All right, I understand it. It's a little more complicated. Well, I don't have time for that complicated, but that'll do. If that's what you say it is. Really? Yeah, that's it. That's all. That's all it is. Just tell me about it. And then white people? All right, that's good enough. Is anybody following this? No. AI. Kevin O'Leary talking about AI. Now understand something. AI is terrific in terms of some things. AI is going to be, in some respects, so unbelievable that you will be able to go one time at home. You will take your phone. You will take a picture of your rash. That's it. An AI program will look at it, be able to read it, the same way they look at a picture of a tree leaf or something. And they'll say, you have pityriasis alba, you have you have, some type of eczema or whatever it is. It will then know, based upon the information you provided, it will then immediately send to your Amazon pharmacy or whatever it is, the particular cream or ointment you need, and it will come straight back to you. That's it. It will change everything. The best way to learn is with a tutor. It is going to revolutionize education. It will know how to make education fun. It will be able to gear in the level of games or fun or whatever you need. If you're a 4-year-old and it wants to teach you how to read, it will figure out. Okay? But with that comes the downside of AI and AGI, and nobody's even remotely interested in it. It is the biggest story in the world. Do you see one day an AI jury? Answer my question. Do you see an AI jury? And don't say yes because you immediately are answering. I want you to think about this. Do you see one day there being not necessarily just a jury, but a kind of a database? And you're going to see are you going to see it? It is going to do more information. It is going to eliminate the legal profession in some areas, especially contract analysis. I recently had something where it was a pretty detailed piece, and I just uploaded it. And I said, what do you think? Go through this, tell me anything I should know, anything that is non-boilerplate, any section, tell me what I should realize. Be very thorough. And sure enough, they came up with like 50 different... it would have taken me forever. Forever. So it's good in that respect. There's always something good, right? Always something good. Always something. And people still do not know what it is. Do you know what's going to happen regarding child predation? Oh, no. You see, I'm going to say something to you right now. And it sounds like one of the most... It sounds almost egomaniacal, and it's not meant to be. But let me tell you nonetheless. There was a woman named Sachs, S-A-C-H-S or S-H-C-K-S. Anyway, she was a brilliant law professor who is schizophrenic. And she tells you what it feels like to be schizophrenic. She describes to you, this is what it's like, this is what I feel, this is what I'm hearing, this is what it's about. And it's so interesting. I want to tell you one day what it is like if you could wake up in the morning and be me. If I could take my glasses and say, put these on and see the world the way I see it, what would you see? What would you... The first thing you would think is, I am in an asylum. And I go from person to person, with the exception of my beloved wife, trying to find someone who is not either profoundly ignorant, not so much stupid, I think, ignorant, or who does not suffer from some emotional, whatever it is. Okay? I sit here and I see, oh my God, look what's happening. Like, for example, the Israel thing. It is profound. And where do I find out about it? Do I go to Fox News? No. I have to go to Middle East Eye or someplace else. You want to know what's happening Thursday when Trump meets either with Zelensky or others? Go to RT. Go to TASS. Go to wherever it is. Go to... If you want to find out about what's happening in France, go to France. Don't go to Fox News. Find out what your, quote, enemy is thinking. Listen to what they're saying. triangulate. I'm the only one. Nobody cares. Nobody. 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 If I went to Sean Hannity and say, tell me right now why Iran cannot get a nuclear weapon. Not why it's better. If nobody had a nuclear weapon, it would be great, right? But that's not going to happen. When you have a nuclear weapon, you're in another world. The same way, speaking of Israel, Israel will never admit it. But everybody knows they have a nuclear weapon. I mean, it's ridiculous. The games we play. And it has nothing to do with Judaism, Islam. It's nothing. For example, it's happening in South Africa. Is this about race? Yeah, it's very complicated. About who owned what. There was a woman on CNN, by the way, who said, the people who the people who lived in South Africa, like the black folks, she is saying, well, they should have precedence. Oh, so whoever is there first can kick other people out who weren't from there? Yes. Well, what about you? Well, we came here as slaves. You came here as a slave? You did? What about the Caribbean? Anyway, it gets into these ridiculous conversations. So I'm sitting here right now and I'm thinking, wow. Trump is saying, I don't give a damn who these people are. I want to come back and make America strong. I want America first. I want America only. I'm going to come back with $1 trillion. This is Trump. Trump is saying, I don't give a shit about these piddly, stupid, decades old, whatever it is. Trump can turn like that. 1 minute Trump wants to basically develop, I don't know what Jared Kushner. I would not be surprised if Trump could not stand Jared Kushner. That Trump realizes loyalty, and he realizes this guy isn't loyal to me, or my daughter for that matter. I'll bet you anything. No reason to believe this. I'm not telling you any inside skinny. I'm just telling you what I think. I just think what I think. Same way I think that, don't be surprised if one day Trump told Don Jr., if you get near that Kimberly, I will disown you. Because if there's one thing that Trump knows, by virtue of being it, is treachery. And people that are aggressive and people who are predators. But I move on. Trump will sit down and say, as of today, MBS is making a great deal. Qatar does nothing but just pay people off, and they're just Muslim Brotherhood. Somebody said the other day, well, that's where Al Jazeera is from. So what? Al Jazeera is what's wrong with Al Jazeera? What's wrong with Al Jazeera? Well, Al Jazeera is propaganda. Well, what's Fox News? Well, that's different. What do you mean that's different? Well, that's a different story. What? Let me tell you what's going on. Don't be surprised if somebody somewhere says, you know what, just for grins, let's do something on Diddy. I just want to know if people will suspend their sense of suspicion. See, every time we whack somebody, and every time somebody goes away, and every time somebody is expurgated from the real world, we benefit tremendously. And the reason why is because we destroy your ability to suspect and to be skeptical and to investigate things that don't make any sense. What they did to Epstein was so incredible, so monumentally incredible in terms of the obviousness of this. It's like something I've never thought even possible. How we fell for that is just, I mean, it was so beautiful. So don't be surprised. If Diddy went away, who has control of his assets now? What assets? Who has control? Where did he get his money from? Do you see the deal now, how they're turning on Clooney, and now Clooney's saying Clooney said Biden didn't recognize him. And now Clooney is getting pissed off because you don't recognize me as star. Also, Clooney with that horrible hair dye job looking like Edward R. Murrow. They promised Clooney, they promised him a deal. Be our guy, be our front man, and we'll get you that Tony. We'll get it for you. That means a lot to you because he's, he's getting an honor. I heard the skinny was that he and Brad Pitt somehow were going to work some, I don't know how they were going to do that, but Brad Pitt, they were going to figure some way in which he would, I guess, benefit or maybe an Oscar, because that's what he wants. You see, it's one thing they're not telling you about Hollywood. When U.S. aid was cut, it cut programs you never even thought of. They just created numbers. Created numbers. You got a left-wing magazine? No problem. I'll buy you all the subscriptions you need. Whatever. Well, you're Samantha Power, you're U.S. aid? No problem. Watch how her money went through. We have a congresswoman in New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill. It was a woman. She picked up, I don't know, $7 million of her net worth. That's over with. They are freaking out. So what do they have to talk about? Well, I don't know. They're worried about Trump's plane. Trump has he is going to take no plane from Qatar. None. Or anybody from that. None. 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 He is trolling your ass like he can't believe. He is loving it. Go out and say you're going to suspend habeas corpus. What? Say it. Yeah. Trump wouldn't eat or drink any of their food. I don't blame him. They call it a noose and a bun. He's not dumb. He's very smart. Not street smart, because that's always a kind of a euphemism for stupid. He's not. But there's one thing about him. Trump will say, I have a business, I have a government, I have a country. I am not going to sacrifice my country for my friendship with you. If my friendship with you involves an allegiance to a country other than my own, and if that allegiance doesn't pay off anymore, I'm dropping that allegiance. Nothing personal, but that's the way that is. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's the way it should be. I say America only. You sit down with MBS, don't forget what Mohammed bin Salman said. Salman. Remember, he said it was Khashoggi. Remember when they chopped him up and put him in bags? Remember that one? Is that our business? Is that our business? No. I'm not gonna hose my country because I think there were other people who said, I knew him. I'm sorry to hear that. There are people, there's one guy in particular, he's a real self-righteous, pompous ass. I'm not going to mention his name, but you would know him. And he says, I knew MBS. Oh, really? So what am I supposed to do? Sacrifice my country for this? We've bombed, we've dropped 2 nuclear bombs, we did Vietnam. So I'm supposed to basically tell Saudi Arabia, screw you. Well, that's what happened with, remember, that's what happened with the Blinken administration, not the Biden. Why? Because they were like this with Israel. I mean, to the point where we were a surrogate. We were like it was weird. It wasn't even remotely obvious. Like, come on. So what happened? Biden released, because they rubber stamped, they auto pen him. They released information of the internal. I don't know if they had the actual sound of Khashoggi being bandsawed and put into bags and fabricated. I don't know. But MBS was furious. You're saying that about me? Remember, he locked up his whole family. These people don't play. This is the way they work. I don't want to hear about the morality police and women can't wear a veil. I don't give a shit. That's their problem. Okay? I'm sorry. Wear a veil, don't wear a veil. They can drive, you can't drive. I don't know. We don't even care about our kids in this country. And I'm supposed to worry about some 30-year-old woman who has to drive with a veil, I don't care. I worry about here. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Who cares about this? No, but these other people, these lefties, say, no, we have to turn our back. Turn our back on Saudi Arabia? They have so much money that you cannot put into words. It's inexplicable. But don't be surprised, the British family has got more money. So he's going there, he's going to Qatar, he's going to tell Qatar, this is what I want. You're going to cut this shit out with this Muslim Brotherhood. You got that? Okay, good. Good. Now what can I do for you? Because Trump's a deal maker, and that means I got to give you something too. You know what they're going to say? Enough with this Israel business. Okay. All right. Lay off Iran. Let me also tell you something. If for some reason Egypt gets involved in some kind of problem in Israel, if Egypt gets involved in it, Jordan said, we're going to back Egypt too, and everybody else is going to back up Egypt. And Trump says, we're not going to do this anymore. Sorry. It doesn't make any sense. I've got all of these deals and all of these plans, and I'm going to say no because of this little strip of land called what? And what you're doing to Gaza? Do you know that there is the amount of the tonnage of bombs that have fallen and hit. So let me tell you something about Trump. Trump is no bullshit. And if he likes you, he likes you. But you've got to be expeditious. He is not going to like you if you cause problems for him. And if the loyalty to you alienates everybody else. That's the way it is. I'm sorry. I'm not telling you what I feel one way or another. My thing is very simple. America only. I don't care America for it. I'll get to the other country. Believe me, I don't have enough time to worry about other countries. Oh, maybe that might help an ally out a little bit tangentially, but no. I want to keep my enemies down, and I want to build up my name, my reputation, and I want to take care of Americans first. It's that simple. This is not brain surgery, my friends. All right, dear friends. I want to double, by the way, before I leave, I want to see 500 likes right now. I want you to double what we're doing right this minute. Right this very minute. I need to double. You need to double those likes. Because every time you put a like in there, it puts us into the HOV, the high occupancy lane, and it puts us into another world. I know it sounds like I'm always like, but it means, I'm telling you, it's all they care about. If we're ever going to beat Tim Pool, and you know you want me to do that. By the way, believe it or not, scientists are still trying to figure out how many chemicals from sweat and dirt are in that wool cap. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to find out. They're going to put it into a pot and make soup out of it, strain it, and make a neurotoxin to paralyze spider monkeys. But that's a different story. All right, my friends, you have a great and a glorious day. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you later. Mrs. L tonight, 5 o'clock. Wait till she tells you about her Washington trip yesterday. Oh, yeah. Oh, she is all over the place. You can't believe it. She's very taciturn. She's very quiet. She plays her cards close to the vest. You know what I mean? All right. Okay, friends, have a great and glorious day. We'll see you next time. Don't ever change. I mean that sincerely. And until then, remember, the monkey's dead. Show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.